Hello and welcome back to In Your Defense. I'm attorney Steve Toland. You know, for the longest time, national agencies and agencies in the state of Texas have been unable to agree on the best way to keep our borders safe. However, over the last 60 days, they have become unified in increasing the number of arrests for the simple crime of alien smuggling. In fact, we've seen a nearly 300% increase in the volume of arrests alone in the last 60 days. And just over the last week, I've been lucky and fortunate to assist two families who were giving alternate charge of alien smuggling. So it begs the question, what is alien smuggling and what do I need to do to protect myself from facing charges like that? So it's important to remember that alien smuggling is not what we typically think of, where there's a professional smuggler involved and through the cover of night these activities occur. Really what can happen now is you can have the simple act of going down to a border area and giving a ride to a family member, and that in and of itself could be alien smuggling. So alien smuggling is defined as any act in any way at any time that assists somebody with the unlawful entry into the United States. So if you help somebody out in any way in that regard, you could be guilty of alien smuggling. So what are four things to remember about alien smuggling that I think will keep you in a good space? The first thing to remember is that the fact that you're helping a family member is not a defense. So it doesn't matter if they're a cousin, a family member of any kind, that is a factor that's not going to be a defense to anything. Okay, so you got to remember that. Number two is that financial remuneration, financial gain is not a factor that helps you. So if you're doing it as a favor, out of the kindness or goodness of your heart, or whether you're getting a small payment for gas or something like that, or getting a payment to give someone a ride that's a family member, it doesn't matter. It is true that the fact that you might have received a payment that can affect punishment ranges and things like that, well, that's true, but it's not an absolute defense to the charge itself, so that won't help you either. The third important point to remember is that any act seen to help somebody out in their unlawful entry into the United States can be used against you. So you don't necessarily have to be in the car with a family member and giving them a ride, or be with them as they come into the United States to be guilty of this crime. If you send somebody money ahead of time, if you help them plan a place to live when they come into the United States, all those acts also fall into the statute itself for alien smuggling. So you have to be careful with that, even if you're trying to do a favor for a family member. And the fourth important thing to remember, though, is that the government does, though, need to show that you knew the person did not have status, right? That they had unlawful status when you're trying to help them. And sometimes that can really help out, and if you have a good experienced lawyer, they know how to explain that to the government. However, remember, circumstantial evidence can be used against you, right? There's still kind of a common sense standard here. So if you're giving a family member a ride and you're meeting with them in a strange place, you're meeting with them right at the border there, those are facts that sort of a prosecutor can use to say, hey, common sense, you should have known this person didn't have lawful status. But the government still has to prove that. So don't lose hope if you're faced with this charge. There are defenses available to you. There are ways to help. Over the last 20 years, we've handled hundreds and hundreds of these types of cases and helped out families. So if you are facing this charge, or you know a loved one who is, and you have questions or need help, please reach out to me, attorney Steve Toland, or us here at Peek & Toland. We're always glad to help.